And book 4 also mentions the poet Jack Gilbert, and his book was #1 on my would steal from the poetry collection. The Great Fires. Okay. Book 4. If souls continue to exist, how does the air contain them from eternity? And how does the earth contain the bodies of those who have been buried from time so remote? How slowly time seems to pass when we're waiting. When we return from a walk, my dog begins immediately to wait for the next. If you are waiting, reader, I can tell you only that somewhere it is still summer, that there are a dozen books in Aurelius's Meditations, written in his old age in his tents on foreign battlefields, as he waited through the last decade of his life to die. Do you know Jack Gilbert's poem about a man carrying a box in his arms? He balances his burden, shifts it so he will never need to set it down. My cellar is full of boxes. In this one, bleached shells, conch, scallops, snails, which I carried home, one by one, in a childhood I've abandoned. The girl I was shakes her head like a disappointed ghost. Didn't she know the sea will always bring in more? Mollusks and the brittle, translucent husks of razor clams, like the long fingernails that grow in the grave. A box of bones awaiting a new purpose that will not come. Archimedes gave numbers to the spiral of the sailor's coiled rope, but the Nautilus waited decades for Descartes to decode its elegant, equiangular whirls. Without shells, the cycloid arc, Christopher Wren concluded, the spire would not be possible. The dog stares at the door and sighs. We carry our waiting and our calcium carbonate cage. We wait for the future to divine for us the past. I think of Aurelius, who thought of Epictetus. Thou art a little soul bearing about a corpse. They're not always that sad. Or grim, yes, maybe it's a better word. Though sometimes they are. So this poem has Johnny Depp in it. So I like to show my range. Mark's your I'm cool on him. So it's actually called Dead Man. And I don't know if you've seen this film, but it's a Jim Jarmusch film. It's shot in black and white. I don't know when it came out, but it's very experimental. There's a Neil Young soundtrack that's essentially feedback. Anyway, the premise of it is that Johnny Depp's character is named William Blake, but he is not the poet William Blake. He's just some guy named William Blake who has never heard of the poet William Blake.